Dan Pico, Sioux City, Iowa. In the mid-'70s, you wrote an article on how inflation swindles the equity investor and that the average return on equity for corporate America would be like 12 or 13%. Last year, the average was more like 20. Have the laws of economics been repealed or modified? Or if not, what sort of calamities might occur as we revert to the mean?
Well, I've been surprised by returns on equity. There was a good article in Fortune about 2 issues ago. Well, it was in the Fortune 500 issue, whenever that was. And it discussed the question of return on equity. And it made some good points about how the introduction of putting post-retirement health benefits on the balance sheet tends to swell equity returns subsequently. And in other words, it moves down the denominator in terms of total equity employed. And there's been a lot of big bath accounting where there have been write-offs, so that counting that, I don't think it has gotten to 20%, but it's certainly higher than I anticipated when I wrote that article. And I would say that it would seem very extreme to me in a world of like we're living in now to have returns on equity close to the average close to the 20% rate over time. Like a Coke, for example, where 25 years ago they would not have repurchased stock, and so they'd have piled up more equity in the business. And Coke's return on equity, if it had been following the policies of 1970 or 75, would be far less than it is now. Coke really doesn't need equity. To the extent that General Motors sets up many, many billions of a reserve for post-retirement health benefits, that tends to make the return on GM look a lot better than it did in the past, when it wasn't even recognizing those costs and therefore had an equity that really was much larger than the true equity. So there have been some things happen like that, but all in all, I don't think under any system of accounting the 20% returns for American industry are in the cards. Charlie?
Well, I agree, and I think that this business of having way more consolidation and the successful companies like Wells Fargo buying in stock, I think that's had a huge effect too. I don't think it's actually gotten that much too. On average, business has earned higher returns on equity, but I think a whole lot of things have combined to goose the results, and I don't see how it could go much farther.
Zone 5.